How does it feel to be 97?
You know, some days aren't worth it. Shit.
Oops.
I would say that.
What's the real answer? Or is that the real answer?
That's the real answer.
That's the real answer, okay. What other words of wisdom can you share with us younger folk?
That when the other day when they're having a rock festival, rock music.
Oh, last Saturday.
Yeah, last Saturday. The whole area went crazy with traffic.
I was in it. I remember.
Max, Leo's oldest boy, was here with his wife. I hadn't seen them in 6 years.
That was a nice birthday surprise.
And they started to go home. An hour later, they were back, waiting until traffic lessons.
Yeah.
They couldn't make it out of the area.
That was crazy.
Stop and go,
Crazy
stop and
traffic.
go.
Yeah. So, can you tell me a story you told me about knowing being 97 now, and how you probably came that close to maybe not being here when your tank commander had sent you out or was going to send you out? Can you share that story
That
again?
was probably decided my attitude about everything from then on. It was first time in a replacement center to take the place of people who are injured or killed. It's my turn, and I've got 5 tanks, and I'm waiting for the captain to tell me when to go. And then he calls back and says, "Don't go out today, just listen to what's going on out there. And tomorrow morning you go out." So later that day, I'm told that 5 tanks were put out of commission, 2 tanks and 5 men. So that, and the war was practically over anyhow. The only other death we had in the company, in the battalion, this damn fool gunner, my gunner, was cleaning his machine gun, and as a friend of his, when the crew walked past the tank, somehow or other he pulls the trigger, kills this guy.
Oh, jeez.
So I asked the captain, "We're going to tell the family." He says, "I'll tell the family that there's a German sniper up in the woods. Didn't know the war was over."
Wow.
That's war for you.
Yeah. Wow. And among the 2 tanks and the 5 guys put out of commission, you mean they were permanently put out of commission? And
They what?
they were permanently put out of commission along with the tanks. You said that could have been you
Yeah, could have been.
very easily.
We had another case where the war was over, and but I was chasing. They'd send me someplace, and I'd go, of course. But this time, we ran over a landmine, and all 5 of us got out of the tank by a trapdoor in the floor, and we didn't know if we were all alive or not. We just didn't know. One by one, we come out, and as the dust settles, we see we're all here.
Oh.
And then I don't think I'll I don't think I'll talk about the rest because but I will anyhow.
Okay.
I'm standing there. I'm lucky to be alive. Then the captain drives up in the Jeep. He says, "How come you're not in that tank taking that town?" So I don't. I just said the sergeant wouldn't let me. My platoon sergeant says, "You're out. Stay. Don't try," because the captain sees him on the back of another tank, going where he thinks I should have been.
Uh-huh. So did you explain it to him?
His what?
Did you explain it to him? The tank is
I
broken?
well, I blew a track off, but there are always other tanks.
Right.
He hopped on another tank. Captain says that's what I should have done.
Oh.
Hopped on another tank.
Huh.
What those people want is to get their name someplace.
Mm. Tell me the story about the girl who was throwing apples at you out of the tree.
I don't know. I don't
fine.
think that's good.
That's fine.
Is it the kind of stuff that's sometimes censored?
I won't censor it.
No, I'll tell you about that though.
Okay.
The war had been over for about a week, maybe a little longer, and we were given the Jeep and the driver. And we were told, see if there was any, just drive around like police and see if there's any hanky-pank going on. They're building bombs or stuff like that. And now I flirt with the girl up in the tree, throwing down apples to her girlfriend. And so I says, well, I see you again. She says, tomorrow at 4, I'll be at the caserne there where you live. So I walked her halfway home and told her there mustn't be any hanky-pank. I showed her a picture of Bill. I said, we're going to get married. But, so anyhow, I visited her home when the guys were driving to visit people they knew. I'd bum a ride with them. So after the third ride to visit her where she lives, she comes there with a valise. And she says, I'm moving in with you tonight.
A little pushy? A little bit pushy, huh?
Yeah. And she says, I know what I'm doing. I'm 21. I just turned 21. I was about 28 or 29 then. So she does move in. And the people who own the house, they don't care. They're just doing what our government tells them to do. Let us have these rooms. Usually they fix the evening. Usually the lady of the house fixed the evening meal. This was for officers. I was a first lieutenant. I got a promotion from second to first. Second is as low as you can go in the officer corps. But anyhow, after about 3-4 weeks, she takes off. And she says, I fell running after the train, got a bruise. She showed me where it was. And she is not healing. So I began to think already, she's something seriously wrong with her. I thought she was visiting her folks because her two brothers were killed, and her object in living with me, hoping she'd get pregnant and leave a child for them in place of her two
Parents.
brothers. But I don't think she realized then that there's going to be another fatality herself.
Yeah.
She had leukemia. You know, that's what Phil died of.
Yeah.
But, so, but 3-4 months later, no, I guess it was longer than that, I get a telephone call from a soldier. He must have asked for service in Germany. It was a pretty easy life. For one thing, we got a free trip to spend a week in Switzerland. Government
Nice.
expense. But other than that, I don't know if there's much more to talk about.
I know you're very fond of George Bush.
Yeah, George Bush. I've never seen anything that bad my whole life.
Yeah.
And now that young Bush, he's kind of a hero. They see him as a hero.
Really?
They showed him on TV the other day, and
Wow.
he's donating to something or speaking some damn thing. Just think of all the people who died under the Bushes, both Bushes.
Yeah. Okay, maybe we shouldn't go there. I know you weren't happy with him.
Nuremberg trials,
You did?
but nothing funny about that.
No. I didn't know you did. So where was this and when?
That was in Nuremberg. They were having, the trial was on. See, we had to stay another year if we had no injuries. I was one of them. And there were so many people wanted to be at the trial. They gave us one day. We could sit there for one day and listen. And the German criminals were goofing off, talking, and we knew most of them were going to die by hanging. But they knew it too, but they're brave, I guess. They're talking among themselves. You could listen to the trial in five different languages. English happened to be one of them.
Yeah. So what did you think of that?
Hmm?
What did you think of the trials? What was
Well, it was a trial, dragging along hour after hour. I don't think I'd wanted more than one day there.
Yeah.
And yeah. But yeah, I don't know.
How about your trips to the Grand Canyon in California? I know you did a lot of driving trips over the years.
Well, Belle never drove. She was a poor driver and she knew it. The only accident that one car was ever in when she was using it. But yeah, we we went, we've visited national parks, Yellowstone. There's another national park just you come into California. Can't think the name of it. We drove at the Salt Flats, where cars are tested to see how fast they'll go. And as they said in National Geographic, you can see the end. There's an area there that's so flat on the Salt Flats, you can see the curvature of the earth.
Really? Wow.
It's a long ways away.
Yeah. Wow.
It isn't much, but you know it's the curvature.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. There's other, you know, life is boring. That year I stayed there,
Yeah.
except for the trip to you know, what was it? Where you can speak to somebody, different people in 5 different languages.
That was an interesting experience. I'm sure that was interesting to do.
Yeah,
The trial.
but that was, I can't think of the country right now. I mentioned it a while ago. That's old age creeping up.
Yeah.
Forget what I was talking about.
Let's go back a little further. How about childhood? Tell me about all your synagogue going days. You didn't go that much.
Synagogue?
Yeah, you said your
No,
dad
I
your
grad-
your dad had other plans for you. He let you.
Yeah. Well, my dad, we lived in South Haven, and my mother would come to Chicago to have her children, then go back to South Haven, where we lived. And our dad was in real estate, and he wanted me to, he was anxious for me to get through the bar mitzvah because he dealt a lot with resorters, people who owned resorts and rented to people who came from Chicago to be in a resort. And so, yeah, I was talking with somebody the other day about some stuff maybe I shouldn't talk about, but there, somehow, because my father was in the real estate, he knew when the South Haven was going to get a new rabbi, and he wanted the boys. Leo had a bar mitzvah and I did, but I don't think anybody else did.
Really?
I don't think so.
I remember you telling me your dad let you goof off many times. Instead of going to synagogue, he'd drop you off at the movie theater.
Yeah, I would. I think there must have been remodeling, or they must have been doing something at the synagogue in South Haven, because I drive him to Kalamazoo, and I would tease him, but I said, you know, now you can see the religious people in their fine clothing. They were showing off all the time. And I says, I'll pick you up after the movie. He knew that I didn't care too much about being religious.
Right.
And he did it so that that the Jewish people knew he was, or at least thought he was raising his children bar mitzvahs.
Mm.
But the rabbi, they had a huge house there. It used to belong to a family called Atwater Kent. They made radios
Mm.
way back then. You'd find they kept moving the factory someplace else. You could dig in the dirt a little and find radio parts, because
Wow.
that's where they were. The parts are,
Mm-hmm.
that they got rid of that way, just dumped them. This I think you'll want to take off.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll mention it, but you might want to leave it.
Okay.
But Bertie was kind of a tomboy. She was one of two children, Ed and Bertie. And Ed Silverman, a couple of weeks ago, he was still alive. Saul
I didn't know.
Silverman's son.
Right.
He'd have to be in his 90s. But Bertie and I were talking. She's dead now too. But she says, I always wondered how you boys, we were too lazy. The washrooms are on the first floor. And we were too lazy to go down there. So she says, I knew the boys were peeing out the window. But she says, I never could.
Wonder why. How old were you then?
I had the bar mitzvah. But we were going down from there, 13,
Okay.
10, 9.
So you weren't peeing out the window recently. This is back
Way,
when you
way
were little
back.
kids. Okay.
Yeah, and
Might be a problem today.
it wasn't a nice thing, but we were doing it. Too lazy to go down stairs. Huge house. That's the way some houses were built, I think, for wealthy people.
Mm.
Because the basement, they had livestock in there, chickens mostly.
In the basement.
Yeah.
Wow.
If they needed chicken, they go down there and get one, chop off the head. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but that's about all. South Haven. Things I used to see, like this woman walking. An uncle had a overall factory, and I'd be in there visiting with him,
And what was his name?
Harry
Harry.
Kurlansky.
I actually remember that factory. I went to visit once.
Is what?
I went to visit there once. I remember
did
that.
ya?
Yeah.
And there's a boat coming in from Chicago every day during resort season. And I'm looking out the window one time. I see this woman's pants fall off, and she just kicked it to one side like nothing happened. Underpants is what I should have said.
Right.
I never liked that uncle.
Why not? Why not?
He, I guess in Yiddish you call him a mumser,
Which means?
a Jewish word for bastard.
Oh, okay. Tell us what you really think of him.
But, his son, he's a good friend. We we're about the same age. We were good friends. But it's just that, oh, I know, the problem was my mother had kind of a kitty. You know, she put money away, you know, like you do.
Mhm.
Keep a little on hand. The reason I had no love for him, there was a recession coming.
Depression.
Hmm?
Depression
Yeah.
was worse. Yeah.
And he told her brother and sister, he told her how rough things were for him. And so she loaned him that little bit of money, which she never got back. And he thought nothing of it.
Mm.
Never tried even. But when his mother died, when this same uncle's wife died, he married a much younger woman, and they did a lot of traveling. I guess the overall business was getting better, so he had profit where he could travel. I never had much use for him.
Yeah.
And then after I graduated in Allegan,
Right.
but for some reason he got a hold of me. He said he'd like me to be his partner. And in a roundabout way, I told him, forget it.
Okay.
Because I was easygoing and
Yeah.
he wasn't.
Thought he could take advantage of you, huh? Yeah. Tell me about your orchestra days and Ruthie, was it, who used to play in Allegan high school? Allegan,
Ruthie.
wasn't she your pianist or
Oh,
something?
yeah, Ruthie. Yeah, Ruthie. She, it's just that her son used to golf with, when she played for me, I was young. She was 1 year younger than I was. I think I lost a year and had to do it over.
This is back in high school?
Yeah, transferring from Chicago school to Michigan. But I entered a few competitions for flute,
Mm-hmm.
and she was a pianist.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that at I never danced, but at the evening of the graduation dance, she came before my buddies got there, took me to the dance,
There you go.
and she told her son, who played golf with Joe,
Mm.
that she wanted to get married, but she knew I wasn't ready. I was only 18 when she was telling that to her son. That she was 17, I was 18.
She was
But,
she was the more mature one, huh?
That's what?
She was the more mature one, though.
Yeah,
at
she
the
was.
time, yeah.
Yeah, that was her way of letting me know, but I didn't go steady with her. She's nice. She got a job in Lansing at the state capitol. But just a nice girl.
Mhm.
And there are other nice girls too.
But you met up with her not that long ago, right? In Allegan?
Yeah.
What, 5 years, 10 years ago?
Yeah, probably was 10 years ago. And we reminisced.
Nice.
Sue and her sisters told her to be there because she was going to hug gonna get a hug from me.
Excellent.
Huh.
Well, that had to be fun.
Yeah. I don't know if she was still married. I had no idea. I think she was. I think I wasn't friendly enough because there's a class reunion, maybe another 5 or 10 years, and she pretty much ignored me
Oh.
at the union.
Oops.
Just putting different pictures of me on the flat thing.
This is B?
Yeah.
B.
She's into all that stuff. She has this was transferring pictures from her phone.
Oh, to about this big?
Yeah.
The tablet. iPad? Tablet
I
device,
think
yeah.
yeah, it's an iPad.
See the pictures big on it, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are nice.
She wasn't satisfied. She kept changing the picture
Oh, okay.
from a tiny camera onto that thing by the foot square.
Mm-hmm.
She's into all that stuff.
Good.
I don't know why, because she's a caretaker.
Mm-hmm.
And
She does it for fun.
yeah, I
She enjoys it.
suppose
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
she's smart,
Mhm.
really smart.
Mm-hmm.